The Prime Minister says, "एक अकेला सब पे भारी."
देश देख रहा है, एक अकेला कितनों को भारी पड़ रहा है। एक अकेला कितनों को भारी पड़ रहा है।
Manish Sisodia hits back at the BJP over Delhi snoop gate charges, says if those misusing agencies are fearing him, then his stature is the same as the Prime Minister's. MOSMEA V. Muralidharan's home attacked in Thiruvananthapuram by unidentified miscreants, windows shattered, vehicles damaged with stones. Cops register case. February 14th gets an all-new twist. Government panel says hug cow this Valentine's Day for emotional richness. Days after US shot down Chinese spy balloon, US claims the spy balloon breached sovereignty of 5 continents. Australia bundled out for 177 courtesy Ravindra Jadeja's 5-wicket haul. Captain Rohit Sharma's unbeaten half-century takes India to 77 for the loss of 1 wicket at the end of day 1 of Nagpur Test. Today was the vote of thanks for the Prime Minister in Rajya Sabha. This after he spoke in Lok Sabha yesterday. The Prime Minister declared "Ek Akela Sab Par Bhaari," a declaration that it's him versus all in the run-up to 2024. The opposition, however, unrelentless. While the Prime Minister was speaking, the echo constantly was Adani Modi Bhai Bhai.
Honorable Prime Minister. धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव पर जो चर्चा चल रही है। Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, take your seat.
An unrelenting opposition.
देश देख रहा है, एक अकेला कितनों को भारी पड़ रहा है।
A combative Prime Minister.
जितना कीचड़ उछालोगे, कमल उतना ही ज्यादा खिलेगा।
Part 2 of the Prime Minister's reply to the motion of thanks on the presidential address.
हमारा ये 100% सेवा अभियान, सोशल जस्टिस, सामाजिक न्याय, इसका बहुत बड़ा सशक्त माध्यम है। यही सामाजिक न्याय की असली गारंटी है। यही सच्ची पंथ निरपेक्षता है, यही सच्चा सेकुलरिज्म है। हम देश को विकास का ये मॉडल दे रहे हैं, जिसमें हितधारक सबको उनके हक मिले। देश हमारे साथ है।
The Adani slogans, calls for a joint parliamentary investigation into the tycoon's business empire echoed through the Rajya Sabha while Prime Minister Modi spoke. The theme of his speech in line with his address to the lower house on Wednesday, but packed with heftier punches at Congress this time.
भावनाएं व्यक्त करने से बात बनती नहीं है। आप कह दें कि हम ऐसा चाहते हैं, हम ऐसा चाहते हैं, जैसे कभी कहा जाता था गरीबी हटाओ। 4 दशक हो गए, हुआ कुछ नहीं। सिर्फ आप कहते रहे कि हम भी कुछ करते थे, इतने से बात बनती नहीं है।
Stinging attacks on Congress rule of 4 decades. The opposition party charged with practicing tokenism when it was in power.
जब देश को आधुनिक होना है, नए संकल्पों को पार करना है, तो हम साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी के सामर्थ्य को नकार नहीं सकते। साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी के महत्व को हमारी सरकार भली भांति समझती है, लेकिन हम टुकड़ों में नहीं सोचते, हम टोकनिज्म में नहीं सोचते हैं।
The Prime Minister targeted dynastic politics and challenged the Gandhis of Congress to instead use the Nehru surname.
हमसे कभी छूट जाता होगा नेहरू जी का नाम, और छूट जाता होगा हम ठीक भी कर लेंगे, क्योंकि वो देश के पहले प्रधानमंत्री थे। लेकिन मुझे ये समझ नहीं आता है कि उनकी पीढ़ी का कोई व्यक्ति नेहरू सरनेम रखने से डरता क्यों है?
The government under his leadership, he pointed out, honored various other icons by naming schemes, islands and awards after them.
हमने मेजर ध्यानचंद जी का नाम पर खेल रत्न का पुरस्कार कर दिया। अंडमान में नेताजी सुभाष के नाम पर, स्वराज के नाम पर हमने द्वीपों का नामकरण किया। हमें गर्व हो रहा है।
Delving deep into political history, the Prime Minister recounted how Congress misused power by dismissing elected governments.
क्षेत्रीय नेता को उन्होंने परेशान किया। तमिलनाडु में एमजीआर और करुणानिधि जैसे दिग्गजों की सरकारें, उन सरकारों को भी इन्हीं कांग्रेस वालों ने बर्खास्त कर दिया।
The opposition in no mood to pull its own punches either, with the Adani question staying top on its political agenda. Bureau Report, India Today.
बचने का रास्ता खोज रहे हैं।
It's interesting, viewers, if Rahul Gandhi had set the agenda in Lok Sabha, which is moving towards, of course, when you look at the larger picture, 2024, Adani, the issue of Adani, would that be a poll plank for the Congress? The Prime Minister today in Rajya Sabha also seemingly set the tone for 2024 when he said, Ek Aadmi Sab Par Bhaari, pointing towards himself and the entire opposition, Modi versus the entire opposition. Let's break it down. Joining me, Rahul Srivastav, our National Affairs Editor. Rahul, it's highly entertaining, I would reckon, the Parliament. For somebody who's covered so many seasons of the Parliament, the sheer fact that the Prime Minister could carry on with his speech for 1 hour because all you could hear at the back was Modi, Adani, bhai, bhai.
Yes, that's why I say that politicians, you like them, you dislike them, they have tenacity. I think a normal person couldn't speak, couldn't have done what Prime Minister Modi did. I've seen it happen once when Manmohan Singh was in power. And those were the days when the government was facing too many charges. The opposition was unrelenting. George Fernandes, I think George Fernandes faced some moments like this. He was boycotted for months by Congress when Coffin Gate had exploded. Yes, politicians, we honest to give it. And the Prime Minister, see, the slogan was very specific. I think the Congress and the opposition learned a lesson from Lok Sabha, where some of them walked out. And here, by keeping constantly the chant, it kind of, kept serving a reminder. But yes, what has eventually happened, that Parliament looks more like the political theatre, that you have political agendas being set both in the government and the opposition, Congress and the BJP, Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi, using the Parliament speech addressed to the House by the President, largely to set their future agendas, send signals to their political cadres, send signal to their supporters and voters, new and old. I think eventually, if you see, Rahul Gandhi wanted to deliver the point home, how this government, unhurt where it hurts can hurt the most, is that this government belongs to the billionaires and does not care for the billion-odd people of this country. Unemployment, price rise, all those issues. The Rahul Gandhi said that because of the Adani kind of association, Prime Minister is not doing that. Prime Minister has tried to create an association with the public, saying, this is what I have done for so long. In that, yes, there has been certain amount of what you call the tadka of constant tadka of politics. In Lok Sabha, he was harsh on Rahul Gandhi. He targeted Rahul Gandhi. But in Rajya Sabha, the House of States, the Congress has much better numbers. The opposition is very strong. Nobody has clear numbers. And that is why, if there is a grouping of the opposition unity index is high, the Prime Minister targeted the opposition led by the Congress. So the reminder, 90 times governments dismissed, 50 by Indira Gandhi, Namodripal's government dismissed by a left party in 1957. All those are reminders. Then another, I think the very interesting bit, if Rahul Gandhi has been talking about the Hindu factor, him being a Hindu, that element about Jawaharlal Nehru, name not being used, because if the Congress jumps in and says that he's a son and a grandson of Feroz Gandhi, then of course the BJP will say that you have adopted the surname but not the religion.
Well, Rahul, stay with me. Let's also cut across to what else the Prime Minister said in Parliament today. Very right, yesterday, if the attack was more concerted towards Rahul Gandhi, this time around on the Congress-ruled opposition as well, but also where the Nehru-Gandhi family comes into question. Let's hear the excerpts from the Rajya Sabha and we're going to come right back.
उनका तो वो साल इतना अच्छा माहौल था कि पंचायत से लेकर के पार्लियामेंट तक उन्हीं की दुनिया चलती थी। इतना देश भी अनेक आशा अपेक्षाओं के साथ आंख बंद करके उनका समर्थन करता है, लेकिन उन्होंने इस प्रकार की कार्यशैली विकसित की, इस प्रकार का कल्चर विकसित किया कि जिसके कारण वे एक भी चुनौती का परमानेंट सॉल्यूशन करने का न कभी सोचा, न कभी उनको सूझा, न कभी उन्होंने प्रयास किया। देश हमारे साथ है। कांग्रेस को बार बार देश नकार रहा है, लेकिन कांग्रेस और उसके साथी अपनी साजिशों से बाज नहीं आते हैं और जनता ये देख भी रही है और उनको हर मौके पर सजा भी देती रही। यहाँ ये भी कहा गया कि सरकार की योजनाओं को उनके नामों को लेकर के आपत्ति उठाई। कुछ लोगों को ये भी परेशानी है कि नामों में कुछ संस्कृत टच है, बताइए इसकी भी परेशानी। आदरणीय सभापति जी, मैंने किसी अखबार में पढ़ा था, मैं कोई वेरीफाई तो नहीं किया है, और रिपोर्ट कह रही थी 600 जितनी सरकारी योजनाएं सिर्फ गांधी नेहरू परिवार के नाम पे है। आदरणीय सभापति जी, किसी कार्यक्रम में अगर नेहरू जी के नाम का उल्लेख नहीं हुआ तो कुछ लोगों के बाल खड़े हो जाते हैं, उनका लहू एकदम गर्म हो जाता है कि नेहरू जी का नाम क्यों नहीं दिया। आदरणीय सभापति जी, मैं बहुत आश्चर्य होता है कि चलो भाई हमसे कभी छूट जाता होगा नेहरू जी का नाम, और छूट जाता होता होगा हम ठीक भी कर लेंगे क्योंकि वो देश के पहले प्रधानमंत्री थे, लेकिन मुझे ये समझ नहीं आता है कि उनकी पीढ़ी का कोई व्यक्ति नेहरू सरनेम रखने से डरता क्यों है। क्या शर्मिंदगी है नेहरू सरनेम रखने से? क्या शर्मिंदगी है? इतना बड़ा महान व्यक्तित्व अगर आपको मंजूर नहीं है, परिवार को मंजूर नहीं है और हमारा हिसाब मांगते रहते हो, ये भी दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। इतने महत्वपूर्ण सदन में कुछ लोगों का व्यवहार, कुछ लोगों की वाणी न सिर्फ सदन को लेकिन देश को निराश करने वाली रही। इस प्रकार की वृत्ति प्रवृत्ति के माननीय सदस्यों को मैं यही कहूंगा, कीचड़ उसके पास था, कीचड़ उसके पास था, मेरे पास गुलाल। कीचड़ उसके पास था, मेरे पास गुलाल। जो भी जिसके पास था उसने दिया उछाल। और अच्छा ही है, जितना कीचड़ उछालोगे कमल उतना ही ज्यादा खिलेगा। कमल खिलाने में आपका प्रत्यक्ष परोक्ष जो भी योगदान है, इसके लिए मैं उनका भी आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। मैं एक बात को जानना चाहता हूं, मैं एक गंभीर विषय की ओर अब ध्यान देना भी चाहता हूं। महत्वपूर्ण विषयों को मैंने स्पर्श किया है और आज देश में आर्थिक नीतियों की जिनको समझ नहीं है, जो 24 घंटा राजनीति के सिवा कुछ सोचते नहीं है, जो सत्ता के खेल खेलना यही जिनको सार्वजनिक जीवन का काम दिखता है, उन्होंने अर्थनीति को अनर्थ नीति में परिवर्तित कर दिया। मैं उनको चेतावनी देना चाहता हूं और मैं इस सदन की गंभीरता के साथ उनसे कहना चाहता हूं कि अपने रिस्पेक्टिव स्टेट को जाके समझाएं कि ये गलत रास्ते पर न चले जाएं।
All right, let's turn the cameras now to the opposition benches. You could clearly hear the din even when the Prime Minister was speaking in Rajya Sabha, his vote of thanks, but you could also hear with that the constant chants of the opposition. Listen in.
जल मिलता था, आदरणीय सभापति जी, I call upon honorable आज 11 करोड़ घरों को नल से जल मिल रहा है।
All right, let's once again get in Rahul Srivastava, National Affairs Editor. You know, Rahul, we've discussed what the opposition's game plan was, clearly to cause enough noise that the Prime Minister couldn't speak. He went on with his speech, but concerted attempt by the opposition to deflect. But having said that, the larger picture, Rahul, what do you pick up? The fact that the Prime Minister possibly set the agenda with me against all going towards 2024?
Yes, Preeti. He's basically trying to tell the opposition that he is popular. It is an electoral popularity that he is using to deflect the charge of the opposition. That does not any way undermine what the opposition is asking. The opposition is saying that if there are charges, there should be a probe. Now, remember, the opposition does not have probe agencies. A parliamentary committee usually comes in when there are things like this, that the government is reluctant. So the government is very clearly brazening it out. And in that scenario, one thing is very clear. It is now up to the public that there are two narratives, one by the opposition led by the Congress party, in which it is being stated that there is something wrong and the government should look into this, or there should be a probe into it. It's all but a probe being asked. The government is trying to say that we are a strong, democratically elected government with large numbers. And since we have the numbers, since people have voted and they have been constant, this is all political agenda which is being driven against us. Now, these are two narratives. Now it is up to the public to see which narrative they hang on to. If they don't hang on, if the public does not back the opposition's narrative, then it is a problem for the opposition. Eventually, It is their task to set the agenda and get their narrative accepted. I think it's a battle which is on. One will have to wait and see how it unfolds in the coming days.
Well, you know, Rahul, appreciate you joining us. Thank you there. Meanwhile, let's just take you to the direct attack also on the Congress chief Kharge. Prime Minister Modi said that people are rejecting Congress and its politics of tokenism. Listen in.
मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी से पूछूं कि आप चुप क्यों बैठे? आप हर एक को डराते हो, लेकिन इनको क्यों नहीं डरा रहे? जो लोग नफरत फैलाने की कोशिश करते हैं, अगर आपकी नजर उधर एक तरफ गिरी तो वो ऐसा बैठ जाएगा, नेक्स्ट मेरे को टिकट मिलने वाला नहीं है समझ के वो बात बंद करेगा, बोलेगा नहीं। लेकिन आप चुप्पी साधने के वजह से और आप मोनी बाबा बनने के वजह से ये परिस्थिति घटी।
2014 में आकर के जब मैंने बारीकी से चीजों को बड़ी गहराई से देखने का प्रयास किया, फर्स्ट हैंड इंफॉर्मेशन लेने का प्रयास किया, तो मुझे नजर आया कि 60 साल कांग्रेस के परिवार ने, हो सकता है उनका इरादा मजबूत नींव बनाने का हो, मैं उस पर कोई टिप्पणी करना नहीं चाहता। लेकिन 2014 के बाद आकर के मैंने देखा कि उन्होंने गड्ढे ही गड्ढे कर दिए थे।
With that, here's a quick break. To stay with us on the other side is our fact check segment.
Over 3 decades, Business Today has delivered news, views and analysis like no other. Now, Business Today presents the future.
Could I request Mr. Arun Puri, our Editor-in-Chief, to come up on the stage with the Finance Minister as we unveil the anniversary issue of Business Today. This is the 31st anniversary of India's #1 news magazine.
BT produces a cover with an AI avatar of Pichai on its 31st anniversary issue. Visit businesstoday.in/subscribe and subscribe now.
Just when you're ready to return to India, there's this big, huge showdown over the Adani crisis, controversy, and how the opposition parties are gunning for the Modi government here in India. So let's begin first with your tweet about Gautam Adani and the Adani Group and their shares. It's become viral. People are commenting for and against it, but I'm pretty sure if Gautam Adani reads it, he's going to be quite happy, because you appear to have said there that it's not that big. Honestly, I don't think there's a big deal about it. Volatility is a fact of life. What did you mean? Why are you jumping in support of the Adani Group?
Well, I didn't know that tweeting was news. I was just explaining to people who are following that stocks go up and stocks go down. Look, I myself invest in a diversified fund in the NASDAQ index, and I have lost all of the gains I made in 2021 and 2022 have been wiped out. I'm back to where I was more than a year ago. And as I understand it, Adani stock in Adani's main listed vehicle is back to where it was 12 months ago. Well, losing 12 months of profits or 12 months of gains on a stock just is not out of the ordinary. We've seen that happen to the entire NASDAQ. We've seen it happen to Disney, to Microsoft, to Netflix, to Meta. This just isn't something that is very rare, at least in the world of American market capitalism. I can't speak for the Indian market, but in the rest of the world, we're very used to stock volatility on this level.
How do you look at this big issue right now? It's storming in the parliament, out on the streets as well. It has reached the top court. So this whole Hindenburg research alleging that there's this massive financial manipulation, and Gautam Adani and his group is one of the big industry here in the country and has invested in many sectors, including, for example, the Mumbai airport. So how are you looking at this controversy that has taken place in the country?
First, I should be clear, I'm not a forensic accountant and I'm not an investment advisor. I'm a social scientist who simply provides international context to people of how things happen in other countries to help them judge what's happening in their own country. So Hindenburg Research, first of all, is not a research firm. It is a personal vehicle of an investor named Nathan Anderson. He's a very successful investor, and he called his company Hindenburg after the famous German airship that burned and crashed in 1937, killing 36 people. So his crash and burn is his motto at Hindenburg Research. It's just a hedge fund. Now, they felt that Adani stock was overvalued and they made a bet against it. And then they went all out, full court press with negative publicity about Adani to try to prick what they saw as a bubble in Adani stock.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching our fact check segment where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp group. Busting fake news here. Claim: explosion at a nuclear plant in Turkey after the quake. Well, this was news that was making the rounds. very alarmist. On the other hand, the fact check on that, this is a 2015 video of a factory blast in China, nothing to do with a nuclear plant. Well, with that fact check, a quick break. On the other side is To the Point.
Siddharth Malhotra and Kiara Advani's wedding has been talk of the town. And if there is one thing that their fans are eagerly waiting for, more than even the first glimpse of the couple as a husband and wife, is to know about their abode together post the wedding when they return to Mumbai. Siddharth and Kiara are currently situated at their respective residence, which is a lavish apartment in Pali Hill and in the high-end Mahalakshmi neighbourhood of Mumbai. However, according to sources, the Mission Majnu actor is all set to move into a bungalow and has even shortlisted a few in Juhu. He has a criteria that the property should be sea-facing, as his Bandra pad gives him an unrestricted view of the Arabian Sea, and the actor is not willing to change that. Siddharth, meanwhile, has also got an eye on a bungalow in JVPD, which is said to be spread across 3,500 square foot. Sources are suggesting that this property comes with a fat price tag of 70 crore rupees. However, Siddharth will want to check out all the shortlisted houses again before zeroing in on one. After their shadi, the couple will be moving into his Pali Hill residence till the dream bungalow is ready. Fans will also be interested to see the future collaborations between the two, whether it's endorsements or movies. As the norm is, when the two leading actors tie the knot, their collaboration becomes the most anticipated one. Case in point, Deepika Padukone, Ranveer Singh, Alia Bhatt, Ranbir Kapoor are just some of those names. Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Try some of the puri sabzi. This is going to be my political breakfast. How many seats are you out of 60?
I always say about 50.
The mood of Tripura is against the BJP.
और 5 साल देखना है क्या होता है. There is no democracy at all.
Padut has decided to give me extra sticky rice.
PK Chai Tripura Wali. Great Indian tradition.
Good evening, viewers. You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Well, the Karnataka elections are in order in just a few months from now. One would expect that, at least on the face of it, our political parties would say that this election is about development, but not quite so. In Karnataka, it seems that the BJP seems to have charted out its poll strategy, which is ideology or communal polarization. Why I say that? I say it through what was said by not just a small-time leader in Karnataka of the BJP, but the Karnataka BJP president Nalin Kumar Katil, sparking a fresh row when he said that this time the elections are all about, not a little about, not a bit about, but all about Tipu versus Sarkar. Where does development come into all of this? And does the Congress have a strategic, cohesive reaction in terms of a give back to the BJP? Can they actually make this election local? All of that over the course of the next 20 minutes.
This is what Bangaloreans suffer. This is what the people of Karnataka want addressed. But this isn't the biggest issue at all. Instead, it's all about Tipu Sultan and Savarkar. And the man weaving this narrative is none other than the Karnataka BJP chief, Nalin Kumar Katil.
ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಜಯಂತಿ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಡ, ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಡವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಜಯಂತಿ ಆಚರಣೆಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಸಾವರ್ಕರ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವಹೇಳನದ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಆಡಿದರು. ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಮುಂದಿನ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಣ್ಣ ಬನ್ನಿ, ನೀವು ಸವಾಲಿಗೆ ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಮತ್ತು ಸಾವರ್ಕರ್ನ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ನಡೀತದೆ. ಈ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಭಕ್ತ ಬೇಕಾ, ಸಾವರ್ಕರ್ ಬೇಕಾ, ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಬೇಕಾ, ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಬನ್ನಿ.
That's right. The Neta who once said this.
ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನೀವು ರಸ್ತೆ, ಮೋರಿ, ಚರಂಡಿ, ಸಣ್ಣ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತನಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸ ಹೋದಾಗ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಳಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ನಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ನಳಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ನಕ್ಕು ನಿಮಗೇನು ಬಂಗಾರ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಬದುಕಿನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಲವ್ ಜಿಹಾದಿಯನ್ನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಬೇಕು. ಲವ್ ಜಿಹಾದಿಯನ್ನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕು ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ.
Is now saying this election is about Tipu versus Savarkar. Katil even challenged former CM Siddaramaiah to a debate. All political parties, as expected, have jumped headfirst into this debate.
What he said is about one nationalism and anti-nationalism, because Tipu is against anti-nationalism. Our Savarkar is nationalism. So he might have told in that version. So 100% this election will be nationalism and anti-nationalism. 100% that will be.
Tipu was someone who sacrificed his life for the freedom of this country. Who was Savarkar? Savarkar was someone who was living his life on pension from the Britishers, who wrote apology letters and lifelong served as an ally of the British. So if he wants to say that the fight is between Tipu and Savarkar, I want to ask him, in the last 4 years of your governance, do you not have anything to showcase to the people that you have achieved something for them?
The Bombay government, meanwhile, has also taken a cue from Katil and fired at Congress.
It's a right statement. Politically, if you look at, if they are able to glorify Tipu Sultan, they are able to glorify, if you are going to talk about it, and Veer Savarkar is our own Indian. Siddaramaiah ji is talking about only Tipu Sultan ji. We are talking about Veer Savarkar.
The Congress has hit out at Nalin Kumar's statement stating that the government doesn't have anything to show on the paper, and that is the reason they are trying to polarize the vote by influencing the voter communally. With you, journalist Madhu Sagairaj reporting for India Today, Bengaluru.
All right, viewers, has the BJP set its poll strategy in order before Karnataka elections, and the Congress, does it actually have a counter to that? Various strategies, not a cohesive one where the Congress is concerned. Let's take that question to our panelists this evening. Joining me is Samir Kagalkar, spokesperson, Karnataka BJP, Aishwarya Mahadev, spokesperson, Karnataka Congress, and also for a larger perspective, Dr. Sandeep Shastri, political scientist. I want to go across to the BJP spokesperson first, Mr. Kagalkar. The fact is, if it would have come from, say, any junior leader or let's say any leader, but if it's come from the BJP president, Mr. Katir, then one needs to take it seriously, because what he said, sir, that this election, if he had said that this election is a lot about development and a little bit about Tipu and Savarkar, he didn't say that. He says this election is all about Tipu and Savarkar, which would practically read to, say, me as a journalist, communal polarization, and to a lot out there as a battle of ideologies.
Thanks so much, Preeti, for having me on the show. BJP, as it is, takes it for granted that development is a must. It's a given. We are here to govern. We are here to deliver without discrimination, without any sort of exclusion, make it an inclusive development. That's a given thing. Any state government of the BJP, any central government schemes that you get to see is very clearly aimed, focused to ensure that there is a maximum delivery to the benefit of the nation, of the poor. Now, when it comes to who we are, it's something that each one of us as a political party needs to make our stand very clear. What do we stand for? When our state president, Adhikshji Katilji, made the statement, he's speaking of Veer Savarkar on the one hand and the tyrant Tipu on the other hand. Neither of them are alive today. So which means to say both of them represent a particular ideology. Both of them are symbolic of something. Now, what is it symbolic of? That's a key question. If you take, for example, allow me a small digression, but a very important digression. Muhammad Ali Karim Chagla. Many of us wouldn't have even heard of him. But it's important to know about Justice Chagla, who worked under Muhammad Ali Jinnah so long as he was a nationalist Muslim in India. And the moment he tried to sort of create a separate Pakistan, he broke away from him, stood in India, became the Chief Justice, the first Chief Justice of the Mumbai High Court, was an ambassador to the US, UK, became a union minister. And it was this Justice Chagla in the year 1980, December, and in Mumbai, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji said that it's going to be a new political party, then it's going to be Suraj Niklega, Andhera Chatega, Kamal Kilega. It was this Muhammad Chagla who presided over that particular session, Mahadevation, made a statement saying that this is the future of the country. What does it mean? It means that a nationalist way of looking at things is what a political party needs to take. On the other hand, this is exactly what Savarkar stood for. On the other hand, what did Tyrant Tipu stand for? Tyrant Tipu stood for extermination. You ask the Mandi Mayangars, you ask the Koduviras, you go to Mangalore, you get to know what kind of an exclusionist tyrant he was. You speak about the kind of a cultural assault that he did on the language of Kannada. You understand the kind of looting that he did of the people.
Okay.
So when you are looking at
Mr. Kagalkar, sir, okay, Mr. Kagalkar, as I bring in, okay, please, sir, make your point. Finish.
Two people who represent ideologies. Today we need to choose. What do we need to choose? Do we need to choose SDPI and PFI, which Siddaramaiah supports? Therefore, he represents Tyrant Tipu. That's exactly what we mean.
Okay,
and we
Mr. Kagalkar, okay, sir. May I come in now?
Sir,
sir, as I did allow you a digression, allow me a digression as I also get in our other guests. The gentleman you're talking about, Muhammad Karim Chagla, you're quoting him from the 1900. Now, all well and good. One must look into the past. 1900s, I'm saying, sir. One must look into. Okay, one must look into the past and maybe learn from there. But I want to ask you. You talk about that era, and let me tell you where Karnataka stands right now. Where at least I'm looking at some figures which have come in from Bengaluru that stand right now. You've had a huge colossal mess where your flyovers are concerned. You have a garbage issue which is uncontrollable. As I speak, and correct me if I'm wrong, there are 34 wards which are overflowing with garbage and you don't know what to do with them. Your roads in terms of potholes are a mess. So when you say the kind of deaths you've had because of civic negligence, sir, you know it better than I. So when you say that development is a given, where is the given, sir? Because when it is all about Savarkar and Tipu, collateral are the citizens of this country.
Absolutely not. Unfortunately, what the kind of a twist that one gets to hear, exactly the way you are giving. It is a big gap in terms of development, yes, undoubtedly, yes. Do we need not to work on it? Yes. Did you not hear the Kerala High Court that rapped the knuckles of the communist government in Kerala and said that you fill up the potholes? That's true of Kerala, that's true of Karnataka, that's true of any other state. But at the same time, equally true is what Gadkari ji is doing from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, bringing up roads that are absolutely great American standard. While there is a need for the state leader, while there is a need for the local leaders to emulate Gadkari ji, the fact that development as a focus is given is absolutely given. There is no negotiation on that front.
Sir, have this conversation with the citizens of Karnataka, because many of them, and I can see it already come in online, a lot of people are tweeting with abject dismay and disbelief that you say development is a given. These are questions that these people are asking you. So on the other account, I'm going to just bring in our other guests. Aishwarya Mahadev, spokesperson Karnataka, is also with us. So is Dr. Sandeep Shastri. Aishwarya Mahadev, I want to ask you, can the Congress actually keep this election local? Because at least as a journalist, one doesn't quite see a cohesive strategy on your account. If you have a Mr. Siddaramaiah who keeps talking about Tipu, you can't even mention that to the camp of DK Sivakumar, because they'll only talk about development and very wary of even getting in to the Tipu Savarkar controversy.
Good evening, Preeti. I really want to take a moment to appreciate Mr. Samir, because he seems far more intelligent than all of his unit put together, because he's trying to rationalize something that really does not have a rationale, especially when they're trying to rational somebody like Savarkar versus Tipu, because let's be very, very honest, that the geopolitics of my state, whether it is Tipu or whatnot, opens up wider connotations, because Tipu Sultan defended my state or whatever was rudimentarily the area against people, including the Marathas, that plundered Hindu temples, and you saw Tipu defending them. You saw a whole lot of history, because geopolitics is a completely different issue from what is politics of today. One. Second thing is, Preeti, let's be honest, that the BJP has been pushed to a point of absolute disrepute and absolute sort of with nothing else to talk about, that they will talk about, in the car, like in Amrit Kal, in the area of Vikas, so the age of Vikas, that the only thing that they have to talk about is history. And it's extremely shameful, it's extremely sad, and Samir is extremely intelligent that he does not have to defend this. But today in Karnataka, I am a Kannadiga, I am a proud Kannadiga, that when I say that my state has far more issues, whether it is Paura Karmikas protesting, whether it's Anganwadi workers protesting, whether it is BBMP workers protesting, or it's whether the sort of development in my state that has come to a standstill, priorities in my state are far greater than what has happened in history. And Mr. Kagalkar should not really be mired in that, and to answer to the people of the state. Because when you talk about Amrit Kal, when you talk about Vikas, why are you talking about 60 years ago?
But Aishwarya, let's talk about what you're talking about. Because we don't seem to understand if the Congress actually has a cohesive strategy on it. You say that Tipu defended your state. However, why is your Congress unit in terms of publicly so afraid to say it? Every time you talk about, either own what you're talking about, which is secularism, you're not seeming to do that, and various voices coming in, not one.
Preeti, it's a very simple fact that my party or my people are not going to sit and dwell on the past so much so that we have to go back centuries previously. Because let's be honest, if you want to really talk about it, Jagdish Shettar, Yediyurappa, R. Ashok, all of them have participated in Tipu Jayanti celebrations. And I think that to sit and talk about something so much in the past is absolutely shameful. But today, my party, whether it is Siddaramaiah, whether it is DK Shivakumar, my leader, all of them have made it emphatically clear that the state is going to polls on development. I don't want to sit and talk about centuries ago as to what has happened, because today my civic issues in my state are extremely abysmal. If you want to talk about the basic necessities to the people in my state, it is absolutely ridiculous the manner in which they're being treated. And I'm sure Samir has a lot to say about it, but I don't want to...
I just want to, before I come back to the BJP spokesperson and you, Ms. Mahadev, I want to bring in Dr. Sandeep Shastri, who knows possibly the political topography of Karnataka and the voters by the back of his hand. Dr. Shastri, do you see making the BJP's poll pitch of Tipu versus Savarkar getting any traction with the people? Or do you see the Congress being able to hold on and make this election hyper-local that they would want to?
Preeti, as a Kannadiga, I thought we would be not inflicted by this drought of ideas. On the one hand, you have the flash of rhetoric that don't focus on development but focus on XYZ. And on the other hand, you have the Congress leaders trying to focus on issues like Tipu. Now, are these issues that concern citizens across the state? Are these the issues which people across social groups, across economic categories, across regions of Karnataka are looking at? No. I go back to my term, this represents a drought of ideas. I think both the BJP and the Congress are not focusing on people's issues, but focusing on issues which are irrelevant in some way to the public debate and more critical to raise emotional concerns. And I think the citizen of Karnataka deserves much better and much more.
But Dr. Shastri, for once, if you're not emotionally, talking as a Kannadiga and you talk as a political scientist and a psephologist, it's happened in other states where communal polarization has worked wonderfully for parties and they've drawn lots of benefit from it politically, electorally speaking. Is Karnataka that state this time around?
If I speak as a student of politics, I think Karnataka in important ways is significantly different. The voters in Karnataka in the past have focused on critical issues of bread and butter. Let's remember after 1985, no ruling party in Karnataka has been able to get a clear majority in the next elections. And that's an important factor for me. If a party has not been able to get a majority in the next elections, it's because ruling parties have not focused on issues which are important to the people. And I think it's high time both the Congress and the BJP realize that and focus on issues which really matter for common people.
I want to bring in Mr. Kagalkar back into this conversation. Many would suggest, Mr. Kagalkar, that the BJP is trying to rake up, a communal polarizing issue, possibly to mask the anti-incumbency against your party, and on the other hand, also the various corruption charges that have come in the wake of it.
Things can't be more ridiculous than this. First and foremost, let me answer both my colleague Aishwarya as well as Professor Shastri. When we speak of development, you're talking of Karnataka being the second largest GST holder. You talk of Karnataka generating about 10 lakh crores worth of investment interest in the recently concluded Global Investors Meet. It would have been possible if what will be the fact that the state government is not interested in development. You're talking of Bhadra getting 5,300 crore rupees. You're talking of the Kalyan Karnataka getting about 5,000 crore rupees in our budget. You're understanding the kind of impetus that we're giving to the airports in the country, be it Hubli, be it Dharwad, and be it the upcoming airports as well as the IITs in Dharwad, the airport in Raichur, the IIIT once again in Dharwad. So the point that I'm trying to make is, as far as development is concerned, it has to be the daily bread and butter, period, no two words about it. No other state government, no other central government would have focused on development the way we have been able to focus. I don't want to repeat what the Honorable Prime Minister said today and yesterday. So the point I'm trying to make is, then why is it that someone is raising the issues? It's probably Siddaramaiaji's way of saying we would want to bring in more PFI, more SDPI. This is a today's matter. Today.
Okay. Mr. Kagalkar, the fact is, I have a whole legion of comments. Many from the BJP President, Mr. Katil. I even have Mr. C.T. Ravi, who's gone on record to call halal meat, economic jihad, hijab, some other kind of jihad. It's a whole list, sir. Many multiple leaders. But having said that,
you either you fail to see what the ground reality is, or you don't want to sort of see the ground reality kind of thing. Isn't it a very, very exclusive way of, for example, when you start saying that this is the halal way of doing, wherein you exclude certain communities from a business, and a small hitback in terms of saying 2 days in a jatra you cannot, you see the kind of an impact that it has. You understand
it might have political impact. It might have political impact. Ground realities I differ with, but that's I'm sure the hustings will be a bigger example of that. But Aishwarya Mahadev, one quick question. I need to close the bulletin. And I want to ask you, what is the cohesive response of the Congress to all of this? Because you've always sidestepped it.
There's no response at all.
Preeti, honestly, I feel very bad for Sameer and all the best for what is to come. But Preeti, very simply, that the Congress party has always spoken about development. We have focused on a positive agenda. You can see that the BJP is inevitably going to talk about an us versus them. You're going to sit and create a Tipu versus Savarkar. You're going to go back into history because shamefully, your government has not done enough for you to talk about your progress or your development in the past. How many ever years that you have from since when you came illegally to power? So that is the reality today, Preeti, and you're going to see this continuing. The Congress party has been very, very clear, very cohesive, very emphatically stating.
Well, we are not quite seeing that,
Aishwarya,
but fine.
Development, and we're going to talk about the weakness of the BJP because they've done nothing for 5 years. That's why Kati, like a clown, is talking like this, and Sameer, poor thing, is being forced to talk like
let's steer clear of any name calling. It doesn't benefit the debate as well.
We understand.
Let's just keep that out.
Sad.
Okay, Dr. Sandeep Shastri, 20 seconds, sir, and I'm going to quickly close the show. Last, what I would reckon 2.5 months to go in. How do you see things pan out right now? Would you reckon it's a neck and neck fight? Where things stand?
It's clearly a neck and neck fight, Preeti, and I think every move that either party makes is going to have an impact. Critical will be the way parties distribute tickets and how it impacts on the unity of the party, because no party has declared a chief ministerial candidate. So when the candidates are decided, that will be crucial. And I think which party has greater unity and less unity has an added advantage.
All right. Well, right now, I would reckon both houses, be it the BJP or the Karnataka, when it comes about internal unity, are not quite there. But thank you. I appreciate all three of you for joining us. There'll be multiple debates in days to come. And trust India Today to get you the front row seats to this political thriller. A quick break. On the other side is Rahul Kanwar.
Rishabh Shetty has announced that a prequel to Kantara is in the works. During the event which celebrated the 100 days completion of the first part, he said, and we quote, "We are very pleased and thankful to the audience who had shown immense love and support to Kantara and taking the journey ahead. With the blessings of Almighty Daiva, the film has successfully completed 100 days, and I would like to take this opportunity to announce the prequel of Kantara. What you have seen is actually part 2. Part 1 will come next year. As the research is still progressing, it would be very early to reveal details about the film." Production house Humbale Films took to social media to share a video showing a glimpse of the celebrations and wrote, "Celebrating 100 days of timeless tales, cherished memories. Kantara, a souvenir to remember." Kantara is an action thriller that revolves around Bhutakola, a traditional dance for the deity. The film's cast includes Kishore Achyut Kumar, Saptami Gowda and Pramod Shetty in pivotal roles. Jackie Shroff is currently filming for Rajnikant starrer Jailer in Jaisalmer, Rajasthan. A video of Jackie Shroff from the sets has now gone viral on social media. In the clip, he can be seen greeting fans and shaking hands with them. Recently, the makers had even unveiled Jackie's first look poster from the film. Rajnikant too received a royal welcome earlier when he arrived in Jaisalmer for the Jailer shoot. Directed by Nelson Dilip Kumar, the film comprises of a stellar cast including Tamanna Bhatia, Ramya Krishnan and Yogi Babu. Malayalam and Kannada superstars Mohanlal and Shivaraj Kumar will also be seen making special appearances in Jailer. Jailer is expected to roll out in cinemas on April 14.